Our series begins with our heroine, Nan. It becomes clear that she is very skilled at cooking. She is preparing herself as she works in a large hotel. When she first enters the kitchen, they tell her to clean, chop, and wash. A colleague comes and informs them that a very important person is coming today. This person is their financial expert, and if he sees them working carelessly, he will fire all of them. Her colleague comes to her while she is peeling potatoes and begs her to make him rice sticks, but she refuses, saying she has a lot of work. He keeps pleading with her because she's the only one who makes that dish taste good. She agrees, and they decide to prepare the food in the storage room downstairs so their boss doesn't see them. It becomes apparent that Nan has a creative talent for cooking and likes everything to be very precise. She doesn't even let her colleague eat until she adds her final touch. However, he doesn't listen to her, and just as he is about to eat, his phone rings. He leaves the food and goes outside. Because of his actions, a fire breaks out, and the entire food storage room catches fire. The hero comes and finds that the fire alarm isn't working. He lights his cigarette to trigger the alarm, and Nan sees him, throwing water on him before the alarm goes off and exposes her. She covers her face so he doesn't recognize her. The alarm goes off and everyone comes to put out the fire. Her manager yells at her, asking who her partner in the fire was. Her colleague begged her not to mention his name, so the manager deducts 6 months' salary from her when she objects. He then receives a call saying that because of the fire, they lost a lot. He is asked to fire the person responsible, and the manager fires Nan. She goes home and keeps cursing the hero because he is the reason she got fired. As if the gates of heaven were open, everything she says starts coming true. He tries every kind of food and doesn't like any of it. The chefs decide to protest because he is insulting them by not liking any dish. Nan's colleague decides they should serve Nan's dish. At first, the hero refuses to eat it, but once he sees it and tastes it, he is so impressed that he eats it all. The chefs and the manager are all surprised, and the hero tells them he wants to meet the person who made that dish. The manager is scared the owner will tell him to fire Nan, but when the hero says he will reduce the required price, the manager says he will bring her immediately. Nan and her friend Chow have planned to meet, but her friend gets tricked, and the money she was promised gets stolen. They plan to meet at a specific place to smash a car, but Nan mistakenly breaks the hero's car. When she sees him, she immediately recognizes him and tries to escape, pretending to be Korean. He tells her he just heard her speaking Chinese like a native. He gives her an ultimatum to either get in the car or he will call the police. He tells her to do as she was told and takes a video of her. She begs him to delete the video, but he refuses. He writes his number on her bag and tells her to call him within an hour, or he will call the police. She tells her friend everything, but her friend abandons her, saying she should handle it alone. Nan goes to her uncle to ask for money, but he refuses and kicks her out of the house. The hero, G, has his birthday. And when he calls his mother, she doesn't remember his birthday. She tells him to sell the hotel if it doesn't make a profit. It becomes clear that his mother doesn't love him and is using him for money. He prepares to celebrate his birthday alone, but his assistant comes with a very expensive gift and suggests they go out to celebrate. G refuses. He tries to eat the food made for him but finds it cold, so he leaves. Nan's grandfather has a small restaurant, so she goes to him. It is her birthday, and he tells her she got fired again. It turns out she and the hero share the same birthday. Her grandfather gives her money, which is what she came for, as she needed money. Her father is shown to be living in Africa. Her grandfather tells her never to go near the kitchen again. The hero tracks her down and comes to see her. Ignoring her grandfather's warning, she goes into the kitchen. As soon as the hero enters, the food she made is served to him immediately. Don't ask how. He eats it all and goes to the kitchen to see who made it. She sees him and runs away before he can see her. However, she drops her spoon and her grandfather sees him asking what he wants. G says he needs to use the bathroom. The next day, G places her spoon in a large box and calls it a masterpiece. She goes home and her colleague visits her, begging her to forgive him and return to work. If she doesn't come back, they will all be fired. The client in room 23 liked the food Nan prepared so much that he requested more. She agrees, and manager Shin serves the hero a salmon dish, saying it was prepared by the same chef. As soon as he tastes it and eats it all, he likes it very much and suggests changing the hotel's decor because it looks very old. However, The manager responds that it's a government building, to which the hero replies that they are very stingy. Nan goes to manager Shin and says she wants to negotiate. He tells her she's still a junior employee, but she retorts that she is the employee who satisfied client 23. She asks for a raise and a higher position, and when he refuses, she threatens to quit. He eventually agrees. She prepares herself, and as soon as she goes down to the kitchen, the manager approaches her. He tells her that she is not to do anything but cook for client 23. She replies that his requests are too many. Her friends find out she got promoted and book a big suite in the hotel to celebrate with her. When she sees them, she scolds them for not lending her money and asks who will pay for this party. They tell her she will, as she just got a promotion. They all celebrate, and as expected, the room next to hers is the hero's room. He gets annoyed by the noise they make. Her friends have to leave because she falls asleep, and her friend, as usual, has a blind date, so they leave her sleeping. Nan wakes up drunk and goes to thank the owner of room 23. Her friend goes to her blind date and starts dancing. The hero sees her and likes her. When Nan enters the room, she faints. The hero tries to call the reception but gets no response, so he lets her sleep on his bed. He drops his keys to get to know her. He sits to drink, but the hero calls him saying something happened and he needs to leave. He goes to the hero, who asks how she entered without paying for the damage to his Ferrari. The hero tells him to ask her when she wakes up. The manager insists on asking her immediately, but finds that she has escaped. The next day, Nan tells her friend everything. She reveals that the car owner she damaged is also the owner of room 23. She says that when she went to him and saw him, she pretended to be drunk and fainted until she stole his shoes and escaped. She vows not to let him know she works at the hotel. She goes to work and waits for his order. She prepares all the food professionally until he tastes it and remembers her, impressed by the taste. He requests to meet her. The manager tells her to meet him, but she refuses. He says the hero wants to reward her and she suspects he wants to hit her. She tells the manager that she doesn't care about material things, which surprises him. He insists she must meet him. The hero waits for her in his room. But instead, her friend shows up saying he's there on her behalf and bringing the food she made. The dish is an egg with feathers and a glass of water. Still, the hero insists on meeting her and goes to find her. Her friend calls to warn her that he is coming. When she sees him, she runs away, but her scarf falls. She changes her clothes and tries to leave, but he stops her, saying her scarf fell. He then realizes she was the one he saw during the fire. She keeps wondering if he recognized her until the manager comes with an order for room 23. He has requested 10 dishes of sweet potatoes. She immediately thinks he recognized her and tells her friends to help her prepare the dishes. But the manager says no. She must prepare them alone. The 10 dishes have different flavors, but they all contain sweet potatoes. She prepares them all with her usual expertise, and when he tastes them, he likes them very much. The hero requests Nan to prepare another extensive list of dishes, and she spends the entire day cooking. He then asks for 10 more different dishes, but this time with eggs instead of sweet potatoes. When she presents the last dish, her appearance suggests she is pleading for a break as she is exhausted. The hero tells his assistant, manager Shin, to let her rest for the day. Mr. Feng and the hero Lu Ji discuss the hotel's performance. Mr. Feng gives his evaluation and suggests Lu Ji reconsider buying the hotel. Lu Ji responds that just because he enjoyed the food doesn't mean he wants to buy the hotel. Nan's friend Chow comes to the kitchen and asks for help. Initially, Nan refuses, but she agrees when Chow offers to pay for the repair of the hero's car. Chow asks Nan to steal a uniform so she can meet with Minji Shin and try to con him, knowing he is wealthy. The uniform owner finds out about the theft and confronts the restaurant staff, but the manager tells her to return to work. He finds Nan sleeping, wakes her up, and threatens to withhold her bonus if she doesn't get up. She rushes outside for fresh air and finds a large cartoon-shaped balloon. When she presses the button to inflate it, the hero falls into the water. She goes to apologize, but Minji Shin tells her she has only 2 days left to pay for the car repair. Minji Shin asks the hero what she wants from him, thinking she might want to stop him from buying the hotel. The hero speculates she wants to get to his heart, but he dismisses this idea, stating she is now his enemy. He acknowledges that she is different from any other woman he has met, and spends the night thinking about her. The hero calls Nan. asking her to prepare a seafood cocktail soup. The other chefs leave, and she stays late to cook. When she takes too long, the hero goes to the kitchen, finds the soup still on the stove, tastes it, and faints because it isn't fully cooked. Nan gives him something to make him vomit and hits him out of frustration. Back at the hotel, the doctor advises the hero to eat light food, but says he is otherwise healthy. When he leaves his room, he encounters Nan and the entire staff apologizing. The hero, frightened by Nan, tells her he doesn't want to eat her food or see her again. The manager informs her that their contract is terminated, and she is fired. Nan argues that it wasn't her fault the hero ate uncooked food, but the manager insists she is fired. The hero searches for a restaurant that serves good food but is unsuccessful. Meanwhile, Nan looks for a suitable job but receives no offers. Min-ji Shin calls her, reminding her that it's the last day to pay the car repair debt. Desperate, Nan's friend goes to meet Min-ji Shin and overhears Nan discussing her troubles. Min-ji Shin realizes that Nan is her friend. Nan asks her grandfather for money, but he refuses. She threatens to seek help from her father, whom she hasn't seen in 10 years. Her grandfather, shocked by the amount needed, reluctantly agrees to give her the money but is visibly taken aback by the sum. The hero, Ji, wants to eat, but his assistant informs him that the manager fired the chef. Ji is pleased and insists that no one should bother him. Nan manages to convince her grandfather to give her the money, but only if she agrees to work in his restaurant. Ji and his assistant are searching for a good restaurant and coincidentally find the one where Nan is working. This is unsurprising, as it's the expected plot twist. Upon seeing Ji, Nan tries to take the food from him, but her grandfather intervenes, telling her to leave him alone. A fight breaks out, and Nan accidentally throws a bottle that hits Ji. As a result, Ji ends up in the hospital. When he wakes up, he tells Min-ji Shin to calculate all hospital expenses, totaling $130,000. Nan is shocked and accuses him of extortion, insisting it was an accident. Min-ji Shin offers her a way to repay the debt by signing a contract to cook without monetary compensation, and Nan reluctantly agrees. Ji requests seafood dishes from Nan, and because she has no money, she steals crab and fish from her grandfather's restaurant. Ji goes to Nan's house and causes accidents in her neighborhood before reaching her door. Nan has turned her house into a fancy restaurant, and she acts as the waitress. Min-ji Shin invites Nan's friend over, but she insists they split the cost of the meal, insults him, and leaves. Nan manages to con Ji into paying a lot for each meal. She and her friends celebrate, amazed at the money she has received. The next day, Ji returns, and Nan offers him their special wine. Ji brings the finest wine from all of China and refuses to pay her this time. She complains to her friends, and one suggests she get new clothes to impress him. When Ji sees her in her new attire, he is stunned, and she tricks him again into giving her more money. Min-ji Shin, an expert in dealing with women, advises Ji. The following day, Ji visits Nan with flowers, remembering Min-ji Shin's advice to appear busy with a book if the flowers fail. Nan yells at him but eventually serves him food, which he enjoys. Ji sees her holding candy and eagerly takes some. He returns the next day and encourages her, finding her musical performance delightful. Nan tries to deceive Ji again for money, but he outsmarts her and refuses to pay. Days pass as Nan counts down to when her debt will be fully paid. She is thrilled that she will soon be debt-free. The next day, Ji visits her again, and they both descend the stairs together, hinting at a developing relationship and mutual understanding. As Ji catches Nan before she falls, he tells her not to call him Brother Ji anymore and to use his name instead. Meanwhile, the hotel owner tries to convince Ji to buy the hotel, but Ji remains uninterested. Nan receives a call offering her a job at a prestigious restaurant in China, but she declines because Ji needs her. They start working together to redecorate her house, and Ji begins buying items for her home as if it's his own. Nan's friend struggles at work due to a language barrier with investors, but Min-ji Shin rescues her just in time, securing a deal for her company. Ji's friend takes his place, causing an argument until Ji arrives, and it's clear Ji knows everything about Nan's house. Ji falls asleep, and Nan takes pictures of him until he wakes up and apologizes for dozing off. Back at her place, Ji reminisces about their time together. Ji's business partner, Lyman, recalls Ji's past relationships and questions whether he would choose her over another. Ji assures her that while he can find another girlfriend anytime, A business partner like her is irreplaceable. Lyman wonders if G would choose her again if faced with the same choice. G is thrilled to see Lyman, but is questioned about his extended stay at the hotel. Lyman tells G it's time to return to Switzerland, and she leaves disappointed by his lack of communication. Nan continues to reach out to G until he suggests they go on a date. She is excited, but G reflects on Lyman's advice to return to Switzerland. He tells Nan he can help her get back into the hotel, leading her to believe he's going to confess his feelings. Instead, G informs her that he won't see her again because he's leaving for Switzerland. Devastated, Nan cries and leaves. Nan throws out all of G's belongings and struggles with her feelings. She slips and gets injured, prompting everyone to visit her. G thinks about her constantly and regrets not knowing she was hospitalized. Nan's friend tries to cheer her up, but Nan remains upset about being alone. Her grandfather surprises her by bringing back an old friend who defended her in childhood. Meanwhile, G's assistant and Nan's friend plan to meet at a restaurant, but a mix-up leads to a humorous altercation. G finds out about Nan's hospitalization and scolds Min-ji Shin for not informing him. G decides to visit Nan's hometown despite a severe storm. Nan talks to her childhood friend about her troubles, including her recent issues at the hotel. G endures a difficult journey, riding in various vehicles and dealing with chaotic passengers to reach Nan. When he finally arrives, Nan initially refuses to speak to him, accusing him of breaking his promise not to return. However, G manages to reconcile with her quickly. The next day, G brings Nan back to the hotel, where she confronts Lyman. After a tense exchange, G follows Nan into the kitchen to comfort her after Lyman's criticism of her cooking. Nan tells G that she feels insignificant to him. G promises to prove to Nan how much she means to him. Meanwhile, Lyman tells G that she is returning to Switzerland and wants him to come back as well because his mother wants to see him. G, however, ignores her and spends the night thinking about Nan's words. Nan, after a fight with G, talks to her friends who try to cheer her up, but she kicks them out of her house. As she is throwing out the trash, she discovers that G has moved into the house next door. She is thrilled and he gives her a gift. Nan prepares food for G, and when Xian arrives, he is surprised to see G living next door. Xian tells Nan that G must be frugal like many wealthy people, renting a cheap apartment. He invites her to a training session with an Australian chef, which she eagerly accepts. As they leave, G sees them and asks Nan where she is going. She explains it's a great opportunity for her culinary career. G objects and tries to stop her, but Nan ignores him and leaves. At the training, Nan and her friends are very happy and take many photos. Min-ji Shin shows these to G, who becomes jealous. G tries to call Nan, but she doesn't answer because she is busy with the training. Frustrated, G looks at the photos repeatedly. Xian invites Nan to an expensive restaurant, and when she worries about the cost, he assures her that he will pay. G, concerned and jealous, disguises himself to follow them. Xian teaches Nan new games, and G, watching from a distance, becomes more jealous. He follows them to a temple and continues to spy on them. When Nan gets drunk, Xian helps her to her room. G, worried about her, calls the hotel staff to check on her. Nan finds G and angrily confronts him, accusing him of lying about being there for work. G confesses his love for her and promises to learn archery and photography for her, asking her not to go out with anyone else. Happy with G's confession, Nan returns to work at the hotel. Her kitchen supervisor scolds her for being late, but the manager announces a new decision. They will choose a new head chef. The staff, upset by the change, are told by Xian that they will each prepare a dish, and the best one will become the new head chef. G arranges to have dinner with Nan, but she spends the night in the kitchen experimenting with dishes for the competition. She keeps G up all night, making him taste her food and give feedback. Nan surprises G by changing into new clothes, and he shares his childhood story with her. He tells her about his parents' divorce and how his father abandoned them without leaving any money, forcing his mother to build their business empire on her own. Nan is deeply moved by his mother's story and admires her strength. The next day, Xian brings flowers for Nan, but G tells him she isn't there. When Nan appears, she scolds G for his behavior. When Nan reveals herself, G and Xian go up to her apartment, where a silent communication passes between G and Xian. G asserts that Xian will never take Nan away from him. Xian challenges G, asking if he plans to live in the neighborhood forever. Nan interrupts, questioning why they're staring at each other. They both end up fighting over a cake Nan made, each trying to claim the piece she cut. It turns out that G's mother, Lehman, had sent someone to bring him back to Switzerland. When she hears that G is in love with a cook, she becomes furious and decides to book a ticket to visit G. She confronts G, questioning him about his relationship. G admits that he is dating Nan and loves her, acknowledging that his mother probably already has all the information about her. His mother insists that Nan is not suitable for their family and suggests Lehman would be a better match. G disagrees, emphasizing that love cannot be a business partnership, and he doesn't want to lose an excellent business partner like Lehman. His mother demands to meet Nan. G informs Nan about his mother's request. Initially, Nan refuses, but eventually agrees and tells her friends about the upcoming meeting. They advise her to dress elegantly and teach her dining etiquette. They give her tips on how to win his mother's approval. When G sees Nan in her beautiful dress, he is stunned and can't take his eyes off her. He takes her to meet his mother. Upon meeting, G's mother starts interrogating Nan, asking about her age and pointing out the 15-year age gap between her and G. She questions Nan's choice of becoming a chef, to which Nan explains that her entire family are cooks. G's mother asks G to leave so she can speak to Nan alone. She offers Nan money to stay away from her son. Remembering her friend's advice, Nan remains calm and leaves without responding. G comes to see Nan, who tells him everything his mother said, joking that she might accept a higher offer next time. The day arrives for the head chef competition. All the chefs prepare their dishes, and after tasting them, Nan wins. However, the previous head chef accuses her of winning because of her relationship with the hotel's owner. Nan throws a big party, inviting everyone, and they are all happy except G, who is disappointed because Nan had told him it would be just the two of them. Nan explains that she didn't know her grandfather invited so many people. During the party, Nan's grandfather praises her in front of everyone and introduces G as the hotel's executive director. G then publicly declares his love for Nan. Everyone is delighted and celebrates. Later, Nan's grandfather asks G for a private conversation. He inquires about G's age and mentions the large sum of money Nan owes him, reminding G to ensure Nan repays it. Nan's grandfather tells G that the money Nan took from him is his retirement fund. G spends time eating and drinking with Nan's relatives until he sees Nan drinking alone. Feeling jealous, he asks Min Ji Shin to bring her over. G ends up talking with Nan's childhood friend, who advises G not to hurt her if he truly loves her. G agrees but asks him to ensure Nan doesn't dress provocatively. They laugh it off and continue enjoying the party. After the party, G and Nan go home. G expresses how happy he was because the party made him feel like he had a large family. Nan is pleased, and Ji Shin requests Nan's friend to design their company's uniforms, making sure Zhao is involved. When Zhao's friend tries to make her confess her feelings to Ji Shin, she rebuffs him, saying she no longer loves him. During a meeting, Ji notices Ji Shin is distracted and taking notes, unlike his usual behavior. Ji asks him what's wrong, and Ji Shin explains everything that happened with Zhao. Meanwhile, Nan goes to work with Xian and asks about Lehman. Xian praises Lehman, saying she's highly competent and excellent at her job. Nan feels jealous and asks to be dropped off, opting to ride her bike instead. At work, Nan's colleagues gossip about her, suspecting she's dating Xian instead of the president, Ji. When Nan arrives at work, she tries to assert authority, but no one listens to her until she raises her voice. The old head chef questions if she plans to replace them despite their years of service. Director Shin scolds him, causing the old chef to leave, plotting to sabotage the next day's meal. Nan returns home upset, refusing to let Ji in. Ji asks her to go out with him to lift her spirits. They go to her favorite market, where everyone hides from her because of her haggling skills. Ji Shin visits Zhao's friend, who tells him he saw Zhao dating a handsome half-Chinese, half-European man. The next day, they present dishes for the hotel evaluation, but the food tastes terrible because the old head chef swapped the dishes to make Nan look negligent. Nan presents her special dish, but when she sees it, she denies making it. Ji's mother accuses her of intentionally making the dish to imply the takeover is like truffle mushrooms. Nan defends herself, saying she's not foolish enough to do that and didn't prepare the dish. No one believes her, and Director Shin scolds her. The old head chef accuses Nan of having issues with director G, trying to make the team distrust her. Nan clarifies it was a misunderstanding that's been resolved. The old head chef insists she confessed to making the dish, causing everyone to doubt her. G arrives just in time to save her, expressing his complete trust in her and promising to resolve the issue. G starts investigating the matter, questioning Nan's colleague and stating that Nan didn't switch the dishes, suspecting the previous head chef did it out of jealousy. G confronts the former head chef, who denies the accusation. G presents evidence, security footage capturing the reflection of the head chef switching the dishes. Faced with this, the head chef admits his actions. G offers him a choice: resign or face the police. The head chef confesses, and G records his admission before expelling him. G tells Nan that her friends visited her house thinking she was responsible. Zhao accuses Nan of sabotaging herself because G loves her. G's mother chimes in, suggesting Nan should approach her superiors instead of involving friends. A friend defends Nan, criticizing G's mother for caring only about profits and neglecting her son. G arrives, defending Nan, and his mother reluctantly invites Nan to dinner, which G initially refuses, but Lehman persuades him, hoping it will foster affection. After the former head chef's dismissal, everyone respects Nan and follows her instructions. G informs Nan about his mother's dinner invitation, and though Nan is hesitant, G convinces her. Meanwhile, Zhao discovers her partner is cheating on her. She calls her friend, who rushes to her aid. Nan consults her friends about attending the dinner, who advise her to go. They ask where the dinner is, and Nan mentions it's a simple dinner at the hotel. G and Nan prepare for dinner, and Nan brings a gift. G, wanting to confess his feelings, decides to wait until after dinner. Upon arrival, Nan finds the entire hotel staff invited by G's mother. During dinner, G's mother discusses the year's profits, attributing them to the tourist season and a skilled cook, subtly challenging Nan. G's mother and Lehman demand Nan cook and serve them, treating her as just a cook. G helps Nan, but she feels humiliated and leaves. G follows but misses her as she runs away crying. She encounters the drunk former head chef who tries to hit her. G intervenes, taking the blow instead. Nan scolds G for protecting her, feeling unworthy, but G confesses his love for her. Nan shares the incident with her friends, while Min Ji-shin continues to follow Zhao's cheating partner, discovering him at a hotel with other women. He informs Zhao, who confronts her partner, only to be insulted and physically attacked. Min Ji-shin defends her but gets hurt. Zhao threatens to call the police if he hits Min Ji-shin again, and they laugh together afterward. It's revealed that G has a half-brother from another mother who covets G's assets. The half-brother loves G but is manipulated by his greedy mother. Min Ji-shin, now supporting Zhao, confesses he learned Indonesian and Taiwanese boxing for her and admits his love, hoping to be her boyfriend, which makes Zhao very happy. G and Nan spend time together, taking photos, until G accidentally drops the camera into the sea. Nan asks G about his past loves, and he admits to loving twice, assuring her Lehman was never one of them, seeing her only as a work partner, never as a romantic interest. Nan continues her conversation with G, asking why he broke up with his previous two girlfriends. G explains that they affected his work, and he's a workaholic. Nan worries that the same could happen with them, but G assures her it won't. This makes Nan very happy, and she asks when he fell in love with her. G recalls their moments together, but can't pinpoint the exact moment. Meanwhile, G's younger brother has a meeting with their father, who owns a large investment company. G and Nan spend the rest of the day happily at the beach. G's company is supposed to negotiate with his father's company, but G refuses to accept a 50% deal, aiming to destroy his father's company as revenge for abandoning him as a child. This causes his father significant stress and health issues. During a big party, G is upset to find Nan surrounded by friends, unable to spend time alone with her. His jealousy flares when he sees her with Shixian, prompting G to have a friend call Shixian away. Despite his efforts, G can't get a moment alone with Nan, as everyone crowds around her. G's mother and Mingji love Nan so much that they encourage her to call them Aunt. G's mother even wishes for Nan to marry G. Shixian, curious about G and Nan's relationship, asks G, who confirms they love each other. Shixian challenges Ji, doubting his ability to balance his company, cooking with Nan, and taking care of her family. Ji firmly replies that mutual love makes such concerns irrelevant, and warns Shixian not to interfere. Ji's father is hospitalized, accompanied by his wife, who laments failing to raise their son properly, noting his immature behavior. Ji's father suggests finding a good woman for their son to marry. Meanwhile, Ji's assistant plans for Ji and Nan to spend time together in the same room, but this plan fails when Nan's friend takes her to another room. Ji tries calling Nan, but she can't escape from her friend. Eventually, Nan gets her friend drunk and sneaks out, but repeatedly goes to the wrong room before finally finding Ji's room. The next morning, she wakes up to find a note from Ji explaining he has a lot of work and will be away for a while. Shixian sees her leaving Ji's room and gets upset, questioning her about Ji's whereabouts. She tells him Ji will be gone for a long time. Back at work, Nan continues to give orders, frustrating her friends, until Ji calls, making her very happy. Ji spends his meetings looking at Nan's photos, which Lehman notices and gets upset about. At work, Nan's aunt calls, informing her that her grandfather has lost consciousness. Rushing to the hospital, Nan learns from the doctor that her grandfather's condition is critical. Ji's father, in the same hospital, notices Nan, without knowing she's his son's girlfriend. His assistant explains the situation, noting the difficulty in finding a room. Finally, a nurse informs Nan they found a room, but it's reserved for VIPs and high-profile individuals. Ji's father is disappointed with his other son's behavior and urges him to focus on his father's company rather than just car repairs. Nan goes to thank Ji's father and his wife for helping her grandfather and brings them food. However, Ji's mother takes the food, explaining that her husband is unwell and can't eat it. Nan feels upset and leaves, but Ji's son takes the food she brought and eats it with Ji. Ji texts Nan saying he will be back the next day, but Lehman tells him there's a problem at work that requires him to stay, so he deletes the message. Nan's friend informs her that she had to leave for an emergency back in her hometown and won't be able to visit Nan. They inquire about the cost of the large room, and Nan responds that she doesn't know because the man in the adjacent room reserved it. They assume he paid for it. A nurse reassures Nan about her grandfather's condition, telling her he's stable but needs his medication on time, and reminds her to pay for the room. When Nan learns the room costs $1,000 per day, she and her friend are shocked, having assumed the man next door covered the bill. They try to move her grandfather to a different room, but fail. Her grandfather wakes up and is delighted to hear that she reserved a VIP room for him, calling her his beloved granddaughter. Unable to move him, Nan discusses her need for money with her friend, hesitant to ask Ji for help. Coincidentally, Nan encounters Lu Cheng, who compliments her cooking and expresses a desire for her food regularly. She tells him about her grandfather's restaurant and offers a 20% discount as a promotion. Returning to work, her friend informs her that her boss wants her to visit her grandfather. Nan worries that leaving work will result in a salary deduction. Her friend gives her money, which she initially refuses but eventually accepts after his insistence. Ji informs Nan that he's busy with work and won't be able to visit. Exhausted, she falls asleep at work, and a man causes trouble, but Lu Cheng arrives just in time to help her. The next day at the hospital, the nurse tells Nan her grandfather's surgery is scheduled, and they must pay or the surgery won't proceed. Ji's mother visits the hospital, telling Nan's grandfather that Ji is very busy with work and shouldn't be disturbed. She also speaks to Nan, expressing no objection to her being with Ji, but worries she might become his weakness, distracting him from his work. Ji's mother urges Nan not to tell Ji about her grandfather's hospitalization, because it would make him abandon an important deal to visit her grandfather. Nan complies and doesn't inform Ji. Shixian visits Nan, who cries because her grandfather's surgery is imminent, and she lacks the money to pay for it. He offers to cover the expenses. Ji's father, hospitalized, expects Ji to take over for him, but instead spends the meeting playing around. Nan's grandfather complains about hospital food, so they go to get him something better. Once alone, he calls his friends to bring him a car. After Lu Cheng finishes his meeting, his mother comes to see him, and he boasts about his accomplishments, although he hasn't achieved much. Nan's grandfather then holds a small meeting with his friends. Nan's grandfather organizes a small meeting with friends to determine who is more suitable for Nan, Ji or Zixian. Both friends argue, with one wanting G and the other wanting Zixian. After much deliberation, her grandfather concludes that Zixian is the better match. Nan is overjoyed when her grandfather's surgery is successful and Zixian is by her side. G's deal succeeds and he decides to return, but Limon tries to stop him. This time, he insists on going back, leaving her to handle any work issues. He leaves but forgets his phone. When Nan calls, Limon answers and tells her G will call back, then deletes the call log so G won't know Nan called. Nan recalls when she first met Limon, who mistook her for an ordinary employee and tried to give her money. Zixian asks Nan if G knows her grandfather is in the hospital, and she admits she hasn't told him to avoid distracting him from work. Nan returns to work, leaving Zixian with her grandfather. Meanwhile, Limon and G reminisce about their early days working together in London, recalling how G used to scold her for wearing high heels, and their first meal together at a particular restaurant. Zixian tells Nan's grandfather that Nan mentioned he paid the hospital bills. The grandfather thanks him and asks if he has a girlfriend. Zixian replies that he doesn't, but the grandfather senses his love for Nan. Zixian admits his feelings but acknowledges that Nan loves G. The grandfather suggests that love isn't the only factor in a long-lasting relationship. Stability and compatibility are crucial. Limon confesses her love for G, but he changes the subject. She insists, saying she's worked with him for 10 years, constantly improving herself to stay by his side, and now wants to be more than just a business partner. G leaves, and Limon calls him, admitting she answered Nan's call and deleted it. She apologizes and ends the call. G boards a plane to return to Nan. Zixian designs a special kitchen for Nan, fulfilling her childhood dream, and expresses his desire to be part of her future. Nan apologizes, saying she can't reciprocate his feelings. G arrives, embraces Nan, and she starts crying. G and Zixian argue, with G asking why she didn't tell him about her grandfather's critical surgery. Nan explains that Zixian helped her, and G offers to repay Zixian. Nan insists on repaying him herself, leaving G feeling hurt and asking why she's treating him this way, reminding her that he is her boyfriend. G apologizes to Nan for not being there for her recently. He then contacts her friends to understand why she's upset with him. They tell him that her pride kept her from asking him for money. G, feeling guilty, leaves. Nan's friend calls her and warns that if she keeps distancing herself from G and not communicating, Limon might take him away from her. G's mother, curious about his whereabouts, asks if he's going to see Nan or her grandfather. She suggests he should spend time with her after being away for so long. G questions how she knew about the grandfather's illness, and she admits she visited him. He firmly tells her not to interfere in his personal life, emphasizing that while he will always prioritize the company, his private matters are his own. Zixian texts Nan's grandfather saying he can't fulfill his request because Nan doesn't love him. He also messages Nan, expressing his happiness from the time they spent together and informing her he is leaving to continue his studies abroad. G visits Nan's grandfather in the hospital, who, still angry, makes G rearrange all the chairs in the room. Afterward, he tells G he wants to rest. G then goes to Nan's restaurant and, in an attempt to help her, asks to peel potatoes, but he's inept. Nan assigns him to serve food instead, but he ends up driving customers away. He lies, saying they left, because it was late and they paid their bills, but Nan sees through it and scolds him for scaring off customers. G admits it's his first time doing any of these tasks and asks her out on a date. She agrees on the condition that the restaurant fills up with customers. G calls his assistant, who brings all the company employees to the restaurant. Nan serves them food, and when she asks if they liked it, they all cheer loudly, saying it's the best they've ever had. G promises to give them bonuses for the month. Meanwhile, Nan's grandfather continues to give G a hard time, making him hold a plate while standing. After sitting him down, the grandfather acknowledges Nan's stubbornness and tells G that if he truly loves her, he shouldn't let her down. Nan finally confesses her love to G. G surprises her with a drawing, revealing that he's always loved art since he was a child. They start drawing together, enjoying each other's company. They go out and have fun, and when Nan sees a wedding dress, she tries it on. G is stunned when he sees her in it. G hands her his credit card and tells her to buy whatever she wants because something important came up at work. As usual, he leaves abruptly. She tells her friend what happened, and he suggests that G might have misunderstood her as asking him to hurry up and propose. Her friend ends up selling his car because he needs money. G can't stop thinking about Nan and calls her friend to ask for help. He goes to buy a ring. Her friend visits her and asks her to attend G's party, but she declines because she doesn't have anything suitable to wear. He gets a dress tailored for her and takes her to the party, but doesn't go in. He tells her that G is waiting for her inside. As soon as she enters, everyone looks at her. G introduces her to the guests as his fiancée, which makes her very happy. However, his mother calls him over and scolds him for what he's done, saying it will affect his work. Nan notices a boy who calls her his brother's fiancée and is confused. He explains that they are half-siblings. The boy invites her to play, and then they encounter his father. Seeing him, she leaves immediately. G's father pleads with him to help save the company from bankruptcy as he's trying to pay off debts, but G refuses and tells him that this is just the beginning. G recalls his parents arguing. G goes to find Nan and sees her playing with his brother. He takes her and leaves. In the car, she tells him she didn't know that Lu Cheng was his brother and that his father was in the room next to her grandfather's. She praises his father for arranging a room for her grandfather, but G tells her to be careful with her actions since she's now his fiancée. Mengshi goes to Xiao's company and confesses his love for her in front of everyone, proposing marriage, but she refuses. He's left heartbroken. G's mother calls Nan and urgently asks to meet her. She takes her to a place where all kinds of vegetables and fruits are grown, explaining that she did this for G because his favorite thing is food. After visiting his mother, Nan falls ill, and G takes care of her. She tells him that his mother made her prove her love by cleaning the entire place. Nan cleverly ruins the garden because she is exhausted. She asks G to cut some fruit for her, so he and Meng Shi go to work preparing all kinds of fruit. G brings it to her, but she doesn't like it. She tells him that she's only saying that because she's tired. Nan asks G to stay with her, and he agrees. He stays up all night taking care of her. When she wakes up, she finds him working beside her. As usual, she tells her friend everything that happened. She decides that she will bring him food every day and accompany him to work. They spend the entire day under pressure, unable to even talk to each other. When they return to the company, an emergency meeting is held due to an issue. The bank has agreed to grant a loan to his father's group of companies. As usual, she tells her friend everything that happened and feels happy and excited about how G interacts with his employees. She asks her friend to help her change her style. There are many problems at work, to the point that G has to travel to Thailand to convince a company that was going to collaborate with his father's company to refuse the partnership. He succeeds, and when his father finds out, he falls very ill. His son comes over with food from Nan and tells him that he's sure G's mother doesn't like Nan. He decides to visit her at her workplace to talk to her and asks her to invite G to dinner without telling him he'll be there. When G sees him, he tries to leave, but Nan stops him, and his father asks to speak to him alone. His father begs him for help, but G refuses, saying, "Where were you 13 years ago? Because of you, I learned to be tough," and leaves. Nan keeps thinking about what G said to his father. His father becomes gravely ill, is taken to the hospital, and passes away. G remembers his father's words about dedicating his life to building these companies and tries in every way to reclaim them. He goes to his brother, begging him to stop destroying the company, but his brother refuses, saying, "There are no emotions in business. If you want to succeed, do it yourself," and throws him out. G decides to work hard to compete with his brother and surpass him. He spends all night thinking about how to make his company strong again amidst all these companies. He contacts an old school friend, asking him to mediate with the company they used to contract with to partner with him and help him grow. His friend agrees immediately. They call G and inform him that his brother is secretly going to their branches in Canada to buy his shares. Lu Cheng is the one orchestrating this because he has a plan in mind. Lu Cheng goes to Nan, asking her to improve his relationship with his brother. She agrees, but when he eats the food she prepared, he falls very ill and is hospitalized because he has an allergy to it. G calls Nan, but Lemon arrives and tells him that he wants to acquire his father's group of companies this time, without any surprises that might prevent the purchase. Lu Cheng invites Nan to a party at his house. She brings her friends and they all play games together, With Lu Cheng winning and everyone having fun, they plan to go to a car race, but her friend tricks her, telling her that Ji is waiting for her at home. Lu Cheng tells her to come over the next day and he will teach her car racing. She goes to him again, and they spend time together, playing and having fun. He teaches her how to ride the car racing games, and they eat together. He wipes cream from her mouth and leans in close, which scares her, so she leaves immediately. She spends the whole day thinking about what happened. Her friend comes over to apologize for what happened and brings her a gift. She's delighted to see the gift, which is a toy car. Her friend receives a call and has to leave, leaving her alone. Her friend had called everyone and found out that Lu Cheng has been getting closer to Nan recently. Ji calls her and asks if she is alone at home, and she confirms that she is. Lu Cheng tells her not to tell Ji that he is with her and then hangs up. Ji receives a photo of Lu Cheng and Nan very close together and decides to return from his trip. Upon his return, he goes to Nan and shows her the photo. She explains that nothing is going on between them and asks if he believes her. Ji says he believes her, but asks her to maintain some distance from Lu Cheng. At work, her colleagues involve her in a deal with foreigners that she doesn't know how to handle, so she reluctantly agrees. Nan prepares a small party for her and Ji, but he refuses to come, saying he is busy with work. Ji visits his brother and shows him the photo, telling him to stay away from Nan. His brother responds by saying that he and Nan love each other, are the same age, and that their mother likes her, unlike Ji, who is older and whose mother doesn't approve of her. Ji punches him and Nan witnesses it and scolds Ji for hitting his brother. Nan's friend tells her she was wrong. He tells her that when he left her house, he called Lu Cheng and informed him that Ji was at her place. Nan gets very angry when she hears this. Ji apologizes to Nan, telling her he didn't mean to hurt her and was just jealous. Nan promises not to see Lu Cheng again and blocks his number. When she meets with a client, he tries to harass her, but she insults him and leaves. She tells her boss that she refuses to work on the project, but her boss scolds her, saying she has always done this kind of work, and asks if she has fallen in love, urging her to finish the project quickly. Lu Cheng waits for her to return, and upon seeing him, she is startled. He tells her that his brother has forbidden her from talking to him. He tries to gain her sympathy, saying he had no one to talk to after his father died except her. He apologizes and starts to leave, but she stops him, and they go to a restaurant where she drinks and gets drunk. After many attempts, Lu Cheng convinces Nan to reconcile. He takes her to Ji's house and says, "Here she is, she's yours now." Ji recalls her saying she wouldn't get close to Lu Cheng again and starts to cry. His mother sees him in this state. The next morning, Nan wakes up to find Ji's mother in front of her, questioning how she can betray Ji by being with Lu Cheng. She tells Nan that if she is truly lucky, she should convince Ji or sign the check and never show her face again. Nan tries to call Ji, but he doesn't answer. Xiao goes with Meng Ji-shin to look for an apartment for the two of them. They give the agent a hard time, but eventually do not buy the apartment. Finally, they find an apartment they really like. They are happy, but it's more expensive than the money they have. Xiao tells him no, but he insists, saying they will buy it and that he'll find a way to get the money. Nan goes to Luo Shen and begs him to come with her and convince Ji that nothing happened between them. However, as soon as they reach the company, Luo steps on her foot, causing her to fall onto him. Ji sees them and refuses to talk to her or reconcile. Xiao tells her friend exactly what happened and that she went back to Ming Jishin. She tells him that she made him sell the ring and buy them an apartment with the money. She wants to ask him for money, but he refuses at first. When she tells him she loves him, he sends her the money. Ming Jishin asks Ji to give him his entire salary, but he refuses. Ji then asks about the price of the apartment they are buying, and Ming Jishin gives him the full amount all at once. Nan goes to Luo Shen and begs him to forgive her, but Ji sees Luo Shen's car and throws her out, refusing to reconcile. When she goes with Luo Shen, he suggests she take a vacation to relax. She says she has a small turtle to care for, and he offers to take care of it for her. She agrees and gives him her house key. Ji goes to see Nan and finds his brother there, who tells him she went on a short trip to relax and asks if she didn't tell him. Ji plans to take over about 44% of his brother's company, but Luo Shen holds the majority share and remains in control. Luo Shen cleverly tricks Ji into giving him a lot of money and asks the employees to leave so he can talk to his brother. He reminds Ji how he begged him not to interfere with the company, but Ji refused, saying not to mix emotions with business. Ji acknowledges his mistake, blaming it on aging. Luo Shen mentions Ji's skilled friend who tried to partner with Ji's company, but ended up partnering with Luo Shen instead. He reiterates that business can't be trusted with anyone. Ji recalls seeing messages on Nan's phone, showing that Luo Shen was using her to get back at his brother. Ji confronts Nan and she angrily tells him that Ming Jixin revealed everything. Luo Shen cries and apologizes to his mother for failing to regain the company. Ji tells his brother he's giving up the company entirely and won't be responsible for it anymore. Ji's mother tells Nan they should go to Switzerland tomorrow and warns her that Ji might never return. Nan decides to step back to avoid making Ji choose between them. She tearfully leaves and refuses to answer Ji's calls. Ji's mother tells him she doesn't hate Nan and that she realized he made the right choice. Ji finds Nan packing to leave and asks if she gave up on him so easily. She asks if his mother told him what happened and invites him to dinner, reconciling with Ji and his mother. Everyone, including Xiao and Ming Jixin, who are now married, is happy. Ji opens a dream restaurant for Nan, and Luo Shen follows his brother's business methods. Ji proposes to Nan and she accepts, concluding the series. That's all for today's video. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and check out our other selection of recaps. Take care.